Hey folks, it's Mark here. I just wanted to do a little homework demo for you. So on the left is our homework assignment, and I just wanted to show you a few tools that we haven't used yet. So let me make this full screen. So all designs 612 pixels wide, 792 high, vertical. So when you go to create your file, that size you're going to make it. And then you're going to make 5 compositions of each of these 5 different concepts. So each composition must include the following: a paragraph of text of your choice set in 10-point sans serif typeface. So I'm going to take the text tool and I'm going to draw a text box. And when I draw a text box, you're going to see it automatically fills with dummy text. And I'm going to set the typeface to, let me move this over so we can see both at once. I'm going to set the typeface to a sans serif typeface. It doesn't really matter what it is, just something kind of basic and not too exciting. So let's choose Avenir is fine. And it says here I can do any weight. So I'm going to set this to kind of like this light here. So I'm going to leave it light. And I'm going to set the size to 10 points. So your paragraphs can be different shapes if you want. You could do something that's a little more narrow. You could do something that's a little more wide. It's up to you. And you'll notice that when you're adjusting text inside of a text box, that it doesn't change the shape of the letter. So that's the difference between drawing the box first and having the text fill into it. Okay. So at this point, we have our text in the right typeface. We have it in the right size. And now we're going to set the leading at 12 points. So the leading is the space between the lines of text. And so if I click on the character panel, it brings up this window that gives us more text options. And the leading is this one here. See how it's got, oh no, sorry. The leading is this one here. Okay. So set the leading. And I'm going to set this to 12. It's already at 12. So if this was really high, see it makes more space between it. And the reason I'm choosing 12 is because it lets the text box feel like a shape. Like when you look at it, it feels like a rectangle with a rough edge here. And this is going to be helpful for the composition to have it as a shape. Now, the other thing it says is align left. So your text as a default is going to align left, meaning the left line is straight and the right line is ragged. If you wanted to change that in the future, you can change that here. But for this, we want to align left. And I also want to remind people that I am in the workspace that's called typography. So if you're in another workspace and you don't see these tools, I recommend using the workspace typography. And if your stuff is all over the place, like say I had made this window here and a bunch here and there are a bunch of stuff I didn't want to see, like you can go to Window, Workspace, Reset, and that will kind of put everything back in its right place. Okay. So we have achieved part 1. And these paragraphs can be up and down. They can be rotated. Oops, we don't want to do that. Sorry. If you want to rotate it, in this occasion, go ahead and outline the type. Create outlines. And then you can rotate it without it doing that weird thing that it did before. And I would prefer that. I think that this, in addition to being hard to read, kind of isn't something that is useful for doing the composition. Okay, got 3 rectangles type. I like this one best, so I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete this. Okay, next I need a 1-point line, any length. So the shape tools, which is what we'll mostly be using for this assignment, are here. And if you click and hold, you get some other options. So the line tool is here, and you simply draw a line between 2 points. Now you'll notice here the stroke that's like the color of the line is set to nothing. So if I click off it, I can't see my line. So before I draw my line, I want to choose a stroke here. And so now I have a color. You see the stroke width is 1 point. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And now I can draw my line and yeah, I can see it. Okay. These guys aren't quite the same rotation, so maybe I'll change it to something or make it obvious. I'm not trying to make it the same. Okay, my first initial, any size, Dido, Bodoni, or similar typeface. So my first initial is M, and I'm gonna just make this a little bigger, holding down the Shift key so it doesn't distort, so I can see it, and then find the typeface that I want. So I'm going to turn off the filter for sans serif, clear all, and look for something, see if I have Bodoni or Dido. Bodoni, okay. So there's Bodoni, and let's see if I also, I don't know if I have Dido or not. Let's see. Dido. Okay, Dido's even more extreme. So basically we want a typeface like this where there's a big contrast between the vertical stroke width and that there's a lot of change. It gives it a nice contrast, and it's very useful for this assignment because it's a really different style than the paragraph type. And remember, this can be any size that we want. We're really using it like a shape. All right, and now finally, we need 3 geometric shapes, and we're going to use these tools for it. So for a rectangle, I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to hold down Shift, so I get a I get a square, sorry, and not a rectangle. So that's good. Now the circle tool is the same. The ellipse tool, I'm going to Shift drag so that it's a nice circle. And then the triangle is a bit of a trick to it. We're going to choose the polygon tool and click, and it will give me an option of how many sides. Triangle has 3 sides. All right. Okay, now I've got everything that I need to make my composition, and the only thing I can change about these is the color, and it has to be black, white, or gray. So I'm going to pull up the swatch menu here and use my colors as I like to give some kind of different effects. Okay, well, I'm starting to do landscaping outside my house, so it's a good thing I've come to the end of the video. So I hope it's helpful, and I will see you on Wednesday.